The police officers tried to stop us, but our will and our determination, we could came here.
Viva España! Viva España! Viva España!
Death toll has risen to 67 after more than 60,000 illegal migrants poured across the Moroccan border into the Spanish territory of Ceuta over the last 2 days. President Trump reacting. Watch this.
You know, I saw Spain yesterday, and I watched the catastrophe that took place. It looks like an invasion of a country by hundreds of thousands of people. And that same thing's going to happen to us if the Republicans don't get elected, except worse. Much bigger, much easier to get into. We have the safest border in the world. If we're not in office, our country will be invaded at levels that made Spain look small time.
Former State Department Foreign Service Officer Simon Hankinson joins us now. Thanks for joining us this morning, Simon. Look, I get it that the Spain's open border policies invited this, but I'm still confused about, over a 48-hour period, 60,000 people charged the border. What was it that sparked that invasion?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, the conditions have been there for a long time. It's not like that fence got any shorter over the past couple of months. Back in 2021, there were 8,000 people who came over in one day, which is close to our record at the southern border of 12,000. And as you say, in pretty much 24 hours, 60,000 people made it over, of whom most have gone back, although at least 10,000 supposed minors are remaining for Spain to deal with. There had to be some politics behind this. The Moroccans obviously let them through. There are reports that the Moroccans encouraged them, not officially, but through social media and other means, by telling them that they could get into Spain and that they wouldn't be sent home again, because if they swam, it comes under a different provision of Spanish law. So I think the struggle between Spain and Morocco, the political animosity there had something to do with it, and that was the immediate trigger. But the risk is always there.
Right. So, and then you mentioned that the majority of them, we believe, according to Spanish authorities, have returned back to Morocco. Do you really believe that? And then that raises a whole new raft of questions about why they did it.
I do believe that a lot of them would have gone back, because this enclave only has a population of 84,000. They've got a shelter there for migrants that holds up to 500 people, and obviously there's nowhere for them to eat. You know, they've been taking dumps in the street from what I've seen on video. So I do believe a lot of them went back, but many will stay, and they're all going to claim to be minors. If you looked at that video, these are all men, and they seem to be somewhere in their early 20s to maybe 40s. So you're going to have the same thing we had at the southern border, where 500,000 unaccompanied children supposedly came in. Many of them are over 18. This is going to be the same thing here. They're going to claim to be under 18 and then leave the Spanish government to figure it out.
Yeah, anytime you have 60,000 military-aged young men coming across the border, that's an invasion. And it seems like a very scary invasion, if you ask me. I want to switch gears to this and ask you about Trump's Board of Peace outlining a Gaza peace plan. Obviously, there are a lot of moving parts here. There's a lot that sort of, this is a problem that has been around for literally decades, that politicians have failed to find a path forward towards peace. Basically, what is your basic view of the basic broad outlines as laid out by President Trump and the Board of Peace?
Yeah, I've been looking through the details. It is fairly vague as to what happens when, and it's been described as a zero-trust deal, which I think is very accurate, because fundamentally there's no trust in the Middle East. You know, Hamas's goal remains to wipe out the Jewish state, let's be frank, and Israel wants to live in peace and security. So, fundamentally they're at odds. This deal is, I think of these deals each time as kind of waves on the beach. You know, they go up and then they go back again. But at the end, we're going to have a low tide where there is some kind of understanding that can be reached, because this can't go on forever. Hamas cannot live forever without any money. And they want to control some land eventually. They want to have some, even if it's behind the scenes. So I see this as maybe not coming to fruition immediately, but it's another step that does advance, I think, the goal.
So obviously, we talk a lot about the war in Iran and how it affects the markets around the world, in particular here at home. But is this an indication that the war has managed to dry up at least some of the funding that was being funneled from Iran to Hamas?
I do think their funding, it's not completely dried up, but if you're looking at who's giving them money, Turkey, Qatar, Iran, they all have their own different interests. And right now, their interest is to bring this to some kind of conclusion. So I think Iran is under a huge amount of pressure. Their economy is in worse shape than it's been for a very long time, and they have less to spare. And that will motivate Hamas. But,
right.
They are fundamentalists, and so
yeah.
it's kind of like a Mexican standoff at this point.
Yeah. Simon Hankinson, thank you so much for coming on.
Be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube, and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.